Hey guys, and welcome to a battle featuring the Sith-born here, Desert Fox, or Desert Fox, up against Poison Ducky, representing the extreme meme ducks there. So we have Greenskins up against Vampire Counts, which is a pretty interesting matchup overall. Both kind of really different factions from each other. Of course, the Counts much more there for the slow grind style of play. There is one or two ways you can play them, but the majority of the time when you're up against Counts, you know it's going to be a decent length of game, whereas Greenskins much more potent at rushing, one of the best rush factions in the game, up there with Norska. Anyway, for the forces of the Greenskins today, in the front line, it looks like we have a mixture of Savage Orc Biggins, as well as basic, cheap, and cheerful Goblins. So I'm going to be dotted all the way along the front line, some of them chevroned up as well. We have the 8 Peak Loonies, Regiment-Renowned Night Goblin Fanatics. Now these guys are going to be coming in, and they're spinging at the Loons of 8 Peaks, which can do some disgusting damage. So probably going to be using the frontline Goblins as a bit of a bait when they get engaged in combat. The enemy, dropping the Fanatics over top of them with the 8 Peak Loonies, can certainly do some decent work. Over on this right-hand flank, we do have double Stone Trolls here. These guys do have pretty decent stats all round, at least compared for normal trolls. They're also immune to psychology as well, and they come in with nice magic and missile resistance. Of course, the missile resistance not going to work here, but magic is always helpful. We have Savage Orc Araboys as well as a little bit of a Dakka line here. Can certainly do some decent work over a course of an entire battle. And the fact they're Savage Orcs means they can hold up against, zombie summons and the like as well. And then we have more Savage Orc Biggins into the sunset. An absolute bucket load of those guys. So let's say 1, 2... and I think 3 units of these bad boys. I'm interested to see how they perform. They do have 0 armor, but of course that is their main weakness, and it's not really going to come into play too much where normally these guys get focused down by archer fire, as of course the Vampire Counts don't have any range. For a hero core, we do have a Black Orc Big Boss, just giving out a nice immune to psychology to all his buddies. Going to be rolling with the Stone Trolls. We have a Giant River Troll Hag as well, coming in with Miver, Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, and Aspect of the Dread Knight, which is a interesting one. I suppose that +8 leadership could help, and if you cause terror, I believe you do become immune to terror itself. And we have Snarsnick, the Goblin Warlord himself, with Noblar, China's little best, or Gobbler, sorry, coming in with Fermented Fungi, as well as Spite at a Bad Moon, which is going to be very powerful in this matchup. So a cool build all round. I'm actually a big fan of it. Now, for the forces of Poison Ducky here, the Legend himself, and the Vampire Counts, over on the left-hand flank, we have triple Black Knights. Can be certainly able to do a decent amount of cycle charging and punching, breaking through these goblins quite quickly. Just in front of them is a Vargulf here, going to be rolling dirty with his Black Knight Brethren. And for a front line, we have the Sternsman, of course, Regiment-Renowned Graveguard, mixed in with cheap and cheerful zombies. These guys are just sacks of meat, here to take the damage, absorb some of the punch and power of the enemy before being saturated on top on by Crypt Horrors. This is an old, tried and true tested formula. Works very well. Same thing with Skinks and Crocodiles and the like. It can do very powerful. Get your cheap units in the front line and the big heavy hitters coming in to saturate on top of them. We in fact have 4 Crypt Horrors. Very nice stuff. We have a Necromancer in the back here, popping the Forbidden Rod straight out the gate. Looks like he does also have Raised Dead, I believe that is. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, Raised Dead. We also have a Corpse Carve Unholy Lodestone, as well as a Strigoi Vampire Lord. Someone you don't get to see terribly often at all, especially on foot. Incredible model, looks really badass. It's bringing the Ghoul King. We've got Power Stone, Opal Amulet, Command of the Unliving, Doom and Darkness, as well, of course, as Invocation of Nahek. But really badass army all round. Big fan as well of this one. So double fell bats to top off the builds. And both these guys have taken, no point kind of different about. They're both just going to be bomb rushing into each other. The Strigoi Vampire Lord is going for a full-on Leroy Jenkins charge here into this front line of goblins, which, I mean, it's fine. He provides a bit of support. Yeah, it looks like he's going to pull back there. But we're being pretty epic at the same time. We've got all kind of Jon Snow on him. But he's going to be falling back and allowing the Sternsman and zombies to saturate on top. And in come the Crypt Horrors for their walloping charge, hammering down at these goblins. But the trap is sprung now to 8 Peak Loons. Should be able to push forward and drop some Fanatics, and you can see they are going to be coming down the lines, tearing apart the zombies, but I suppose they are just zombies at the end of the day, and it is kind of killing goblins as well, but it's going to be hitting Sternsman and all sorts of nastiness. Not sure what that one was doing over in the distance, but still really nice cast all round. The Black Knights simply waiting on the wings, trying to get back into this Dakka line, which is relatively well protected for now. A summon of zombies has popped on top, but the Savage Orc Araboys can simply get out their clubs and beat them to death. There's a really slow flank of zombies over on the right-hand side as well. In the centre pocket, some Crypt Horrors have tried to push back into the back line, but Snarsnick's going to be able to deal with them relatively effectively, especially with the Savage Orc Biggins here, who do have that lovely bonus versus large. They're going to be real world beaters in this matchup. Over here in the front line, the Strigoi Vampire is managing to beat down some Stone Trolls with the help of the Vargulf, but the war is popped. These guys who were just about to break, all of a sudden gain a huge bonus to their stats, but no, they do in fact rout, quite unfortunate for them. But the Greenskins across the board are really kind of carving up this force now. Here we have Savage Orc Biggins with the war active, going to absolutely destroy these Black Knights here. You can see their health dropping incredibly quickly, as well as some Fellbats, but they did manage to break off the Savage Orc Araboys. There's a huge and lovely flank overload here by the Vampire Counts. But the Savage Orc Biggins have managed to plug the gap and charge in, and they're going to be able to pull apart zombies very effectively, and the Black Knights and the Cryptors, that bonus versus large, so it's going to need to be some serious cycle charging over there to try and pull it back for the Counts. Balance power is relatively even at the moment. Black Knights, though, need to fall back at this. They don't want to be engaged with the Savage Orc Biggins at all. Just fall back, cycle charge them to death where possible. Try to use the Fellbats to hunt off routing units, although it looks like these poor guys are unfortunately crumbling. Now, there is a nice pocket of strength over in the distance, but this centre pocket as well, not going too terribly here for the Counts. They have managed to break the Stone Trolls with a lovely Doom and Darkness cast, giving these guys minus 16 leadership, which is very powerful up against Trolls, and that is now left the Black Orc Big Boss isolated. Of course, the 8-pick loons are here, up to walking at 120 kills already, as well as Snarsnake, who is picking on this next monster, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. He's trying his best here, but Snarsnake is a crafty one indeed, pops a war again. And that's one of the bonuses of Snarsnake over someone like Wurzag, is that he's going to be in combat, just grind out the enemies, so you'll get multiple... although you won't, so I do this every time, the war mechanic has changed, it doesn't actually matter if your lord is a combat lord anymore. It used to be that your lord had to be in combat to charge the war, but now it's simply the amount of people in combat will charge it, which is definitely a big lifelong improvement. You can tell I don't play Greenskins too often. Vargulf is being Spirit Leeched here as well, which isn't a bad idea at all. Need to try and get him off the field. He's causing a bit of problems here. Up to only 1 kill, but he's done huge HP damage to the Stone Trolls throughout, and the Black Orc Big Boss as well. Does have Aspect of Dread Knight popped on him to try and keep him alive and active for that +8 leadership, and causing terror is quite nice. But he has been forced off, unfortunately, here. Over in the distance, once again, Crypt Horrors and Black Knights trying to get rear charge on the Savage Orc Biggins, but these guys are absolute world beaters right now, destroying the zombies in front and then clubbing the enemies from behind as well. We do have another Fanatics cast, although this time, unfortunately, it looked like it was a bit of a swing and a miss, actually going through more Savage Orc Biggins than it did zombies, and zombies, of course, much more cheap. Crypt Horrors are going to try and move back to centre pocket, so it looks like the Counts are trying to solidify a centre pocket of strength here, realising that they are in a bit of trouble as the balance power does go against them. We have Black Knights flooding in to try and rescue some of their Liege Lords and Vargulfs and the like. Snarsnake doing a pretty decent job though. Get Back here has been popped, giving it a nice leadership buff to all these Greenskins forces. And the Stone Trolls doing decent work overall. Very impressive their performance so far. And unfortunately for this Strigoi Vampire Lord, he does have the Ghoul King active. He is completely surrounded, and I don't know if I can get a video of him here, because right here is getting prison shanked in the flanks by Orcs, Snarsnake, as well as the Trolls, making sure everyone gets a bit of a licking. And it looks like that is going to be game, as the Vampire Count forces do unfortunately fall there. So very well played to both players. Really fun game. You can see the Greenskins are pretty damn battered and bruised, so a very perfect victory indeed. Let's go to the end stats. So, well played to Desert Fox and Poison Ducky. I'm not sure if that's Desert or Desert Fox, I'm going to say. Makes much more sense to me. And Poison Ducky, well played to both of these guys. And a massive shout out as well to Fox for sending this one in. And Poison Ducky, for those who don't know, before we do any analysis, is a YouTuber himself, as well as a fellow clanmate and a huge friend of the channel. So definitely go out there and check out his channel, especially if you're in it to Vampire Counts play. He's an absolute boss of them at the moment. So overall, really fun build. I'm actually a massive fan of this Greenskin build. The Goblins did pretty decent actually, considering I suppose they can fight zombies relatively okay, and using one as bait as well for the 8-peak loons to get 156 kills is pretty crazy stuff. I mean, a lot of it was up against zombies, but it helps clear out the chaff, which makes the Crypt Horrors less effective. But the real unit here, and MVP for me out of both builds, was the Savage Orc Biggins. I didn't really play this matchup too often. I'm not a massive Greenskin player myself, although I do kind of love them thematically, so I'm going to try and get in a few more games of them. But 165, 178, 149 kills, being able to easily beat almost all the infantry, as well as, you know, Cav and Crypt Horrors, all that nasty stuff. They're a really good utility unit all round. I would be interested to see how they perform up against Graveguard and kind of test that out a little bit. But overall, really fun build. As for Poison Ducky, it almost pulled it off. Unfortunately for him, his front line of zombies did get chewed through a little bit quickly by the 8 peak loons, and he wasn't quite able to shut down, or he did shut down the Savage Orc Arrowboys, but at what cost? He lost kind of a lot of his Black Knights being dragged down by Biggins, and he just didn't really have any answers for them, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Total War Warhammer content, especially with all the exciting new announcements of a Wood Elf DLC on the way. And feel free to like the video, comment, and all that good stuff. Anyway, guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.